There is a silent moment in every conversation with a woman where everything can change. A moment where her eyes stay on you a little longer. A moment where her tone softens, where her attention sharpens, where the air between you becomes more alive, more awake, more aware. Most men never recognize this moment because they are too focused on trying to be interesting, trying to say the right thing, trying to sound confident, trying to appear like they have everything figured out. But connection doesn't grow from performance. It grows from presence, from the way you listen, from the way you observe, from the questions you ask. Women do not feel attracted because of how loudly you present yourself, but because of how deeply you understand them. They don't respond to rehearsed lines, forced compliments, or surface-level conversation. They respond to the man who sees them clearly, the man who asks the kind of questions that touch something inside them, questions that make them think, questions that open emotional doors they usually keep shut. The truth is simple. If you want to stand out in a woman's mind, if you want to create the type of connection that pulls her toward you instead of pushing her away, if you want her to associate your presence with emotional comfort, intrigue, and depth, then you must learn to ask the right questions. Not boring questions, not predictable questions, not small talk. Women hear those every day. They forget them instantly. But when a man asks a question that makes her stop for a moment, a question that makes her reflect, a question she doesn't hear from most men, something inside her shifts. She becomes more open, more expressive, more invested. She feels something she doesn't feel with others. Attraction begins long before any physical connection. It begins in her mind. And these 7 questions are psychological keys. They unlock trust. They reveal personality. They expose alignment. They show maturity. They create emotional chemistry without trying to force anything. And once you learn to ask them the right way, you'll notice a change in the way women communicate with you. Conversations flow naturally. The tension becomes comfortable. She becomes more curious about you. She starts asking questions back. She wants the conversation to continue. She begins to view you differently than every other man she interacts with. These 7 questions will elevate the way you speak to women forever, not because they are magic, but because they make you a man who communicates with intention, depth, confidence, and emotional awareness. Stay with me. We're going far deeper than the usual dating advice you hear online. Welcome back. Today we are stepping into something far more powerful than simple conversation strategies or surface-level techniques. Today's topic goes to the core of human connection. How to create meaningful emotional resonance through the questions you ask. Most men underestimate the role of communication in attraction. They think attraction is built through looks, money, status, or lifestyle. But every long-term psychologist, relationship researcher, and behavioral expert confirms the opposite. Attraction grows fastest in the mind, through attention, through curiosity, through conversation. Women connect verbally before they connect physically. Emotion opens before desire opens. Trust forms before attraction deepens. When a man knows how to guide a conversation, he becomes memorable. He becomes different. He becomes the man she thinks about when the conversation ends. Women don't bond with men who talk endlessly about themselves. They bond with men who make them feel understood, valued, emotionally safe, and intellectually stimulated. And that is what these 7 questions are designed to do. But before we get into the questions themselves, there is something I need you to understand. These questions are powerful, but only if you ask them the right way. You must ask them with presence, with calmness, with silence between your words, with patience. The slower you speak, the deeper the connection becomes, because slow communication conveys confidence. When you ask a woman a deep question, she doesn't only hear the question, she reads your intention. Is he genuinely curious? Is he listening? Is he grounded or insecure? Is he mature or trying too hard? Is he speaking from emotion or ego? Your tone matters. Your pacing matters. Your energy matters. Women are emotionally perceptive in ways most men are not aware of. They can sense whether your curiosity is authentic or performative. They know when you're asking a question because you're supposed to versus because you actually want to know who she is. And when you communicate from a grounded place, she responds differently. She opens her emotional world to you. She becomes more expressive, more revealing, more trusting. She starts giving you details she doesn't share with most men. That is when attraction rises without you needing to force anything. These 7 questions are not just tools. They are pathways into her personality, her history, her values, her emotional landscape, her worldview, her hopes, her wounds, her desires, and her expectations. They show you who she really is, and they show her who you really are. By the end of this video, you will know how to lead conversations in a way that builds connection, respect, chemistry, and emotional depth. These questions will change the way you interact with women permanently because they bring out the version of you that is calm, curious, confident, and intentional. Let's begin the 7 questions to ask women. Question 1. What do you value most in the people you allow into your life? This question goes far deeper than asking about hobbies or interests. It cuts directly into her worldview. Values are the foundation of her identity. People may lie about preferences, but they do not lie about values. The moment you ask this question, she knows she is talking to a man with depth. Why this works? A woman's values reveal her emotional maturity, her expectations in relationships, her boundaries, her personality, her compatibility with you. This question signals that you aren't here for surface-level connection. You care about character, and character is the core of attraction for emotionally intelligent women. Most men never ask this because they're scared of deep topics. You won't be. Ask it calmly. Listen deeply. You will learn more about her from this one question than from a week of small talk. Question 2. What's something you are truly proud of even if no one else knows about it? This question activates a very powerful psychological state. Self-reflection combined with emotional vulnerability. Most women carry achievements silently, sometimes because they're humble, sometimes because no one ever asked, sometimes because they don't want to seem braggy, and sometimes because their biggest accomplishments were personal and internal. When you ask this question, she revisits positive memories. Her brain releases emotional warmth. Her trust in you increases. Her expression becomes more animated. She associates you with that positive emotional state. This is how attraction truly forms. The beautiful part is this. When she talks about something meaningful to her and you genuinely listen, you're giving her a type of connection she rarely gets in real life. Question 3. If you could relive one moment from your past, what would you choose? This question taps into nostalgia, one of the strongest emotional states humans experience. Nostalgia combines memory, emotion, safety, comfort, reflection. When she answers, she shares a part of her history that formed her. It could be childhood, family, a proud moment, a joyful experience, or a turning point. Why? This builds attraction. People feel closest to the ones they tell their meaningful stories to. This kind of question makes her feel understood on a deeper level. Question 4. What kind of emotional energy do you want from a partner? This question immediately places you in a different category of man. It shows emotional maturity. It shows awareness. It shows you understand relationships beyond chemistry. Her answer will tell you everything about her emotional needs, her relationship expectations, her tolerance for conflict, her level of self-awareness, her communication style, her attachment patterns. This is not a playful question. Question 5. What's something you've never told anyone that you're comfortable sharing? Now, this question must be used carefully. It is powerful, but only once she feels safe with you. Women don't share secrets with men they don't trust. They don't open their vulnerable parts unless they feel emotionally protected. When she answers, you become her safe space. You become the man she can open up to. You become the man she trusts more than others. This question creates intimacy that is emotional, not physical. And emotional intimacy is far stronger, far deeper, and far longer lasting. Question 6. What's your love language and how do you usually show affection? This question does 2 things at once. It reveals how she wants to receive love. It reveals how she gives love. Most people think love languages are simple, but they are actually windows into emotional psychology. For example, words of affirmation. She's verbal, expressive, and emotionally communicative. Quality time. She values presence over performance. Acts of service. She feels connection through effort and reliability. Physical touch. She expresses closeness through physical warmth and comfort. Gifts. She values sentimental gestures that show thoughtfulness. This question tells you how she operates emotionally and how you can create a deeper bond with her. Question 7. What's something you're still healing from? This is the deepest question of all. It is not meant to hurt her. It is not meant to pry. It is meant to understand. Everyone carries emotional wounds. Everyone has a history. Everyone has scars that shape them. When she shares her emotional wounds, she becomes vulnerable. She becomes honest. She becomes real. She reveals her emotional world. She lets you in. But you must respond with empathy, not solutions. With presence, not judgment. With patience, not pressure. This question builds unmatched emotional closeness. Before we close this video, there is something important to remember. Connection is not created by talking more. Connection is created by talking better. Women do not fall for men who speak the loudest. They fall for men who ask the questions that matter. Women do not remember the man who tries to impress them. They remember the man who listens, who understands, who pays attention, who leads the conversation with depth and clarity. These 7 questions are tools, but they are not the source of attraction. You are your mindset, your tone, your calmness, your presence, your intention, your awareness. When you communicate from a grounded place, from emotional intelligence instead of insecurity, from curiosity instead of ego, you instantly separate yourself from the crowd. Ask these questions slowly. Let silence breathe. Let her think. Let her speak. Let the conversation flow with natural rhythm. When a woman feels heard, she feels safe. When she feels safe, she feels connected. When she feels connected, she becomes attracted. And when she becomes attracted, she will open doors in the conversation that lead to deeper understanding, deeper chemistry, and a deeper bond. Now I want to hear from you. Which question do you want me to expand even further? Do you want a part 2 with 7 more advanced questions? Or should the next video be about the questions men should never ask women? Tell me in the comments if you want more content like this. Support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. It helps the channel grow and ensures you never miss content designed to turn you into a more confident, emotionally intelligent, grounded version of yourself. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next.